Sup, Nerdmigos? Welcome, heathens and witches. Whatever to the rest of you guys. This is something different. This is a new thing. I'm John Norgrove. This is Julie Norgrove. This is Jive and the Horn and Cauldron podcast, both by their powers combined. We've got Captain Planet, except we're not.
Yeah, we gotta do this.
Fusion?
Yeah, we're gonna do fusion. Do fusion.
I'm not gonna do.
He's not gonna do fusion?
Fusion. So that absolute anime reference tragedy aside, okay, so
It
today
would have
is
been way better had you just done it.
you gotta resist. You gotta resist, guys.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you gotta resist the man. In this instance, you're the man. Dog.
I'm not.
You're the man, dog. Yeah, that's all right. So this video is specifically about the changes to our Patreon. So Patreon update video, yay, fireworks or whatever. So I just kind of want to go over what we're doing for our Patreon changes, and kind of let everybody know, give a little bit of a update on that. I'm holding my phone because I've got a list because I can't commit all of the stuff that I physically changed to memory. So I figured we'd move forwards with that. All right,
Let's go.
let's see if we can keep this under 4 hours, shall we? So first changes are going to be talking about our Discord. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna start down at number C, item 2.
Oh, Jesus. I haven't even seen this list. I mean, I know what the changes
Well,
are.
the list is
but I have not
organized in.
seen this list.
Listen. I sent this list to myself, and the list is organized in Microsoft Word, but in the way that it's currently reading, it is not as organized. So, bear with me. Okay, so first changes to Patreon. I want to go over Patreon pricing changes. So essentially, the takeaway, the easiest, top-down takeaway from the Patreon price changes is that all of the tiers get the same stuff.
Yes.
Welcome to Patreon. It's all the same stuff, right? And then we'll go into the stuff part.
Yeah, so you can donate whatever you can.
Yeah, so you can donate whatever you can. So right now we have 4 tiers set up. So we've got, and I gave them fun names because writers' problems. So all the tiers are the same price, or get the same features. The first tier is a $3 tier. It's called the Order of the Black Triangle. The second tier is the Lodge of the Honeyed Queen for $6. The third tier is the Sect of the Lost Tentacle for $9. And then the fourth tier is the Society of Fae for $13. I chose these numbers because I'm very into numerology. 3, 6, and 9, making a perfect cube. And then 13 because it's my favorite number. Technically, right now, if you go to our Patreon, you will still see a $5 tier. Don't go to that tier. If you are on that $5 tier, there's no rush. You guys do whatever the heck you want, dogs. But, once nobody's on that tier, I'm going to erase that tier. Because it doesn't fit the numerology. That's literally the only reason, by the way. That's it. That's the only reason. So you can go to the $3 tier. You can go to the $6 tier. I don't have an opinion either which direction. Right? The main reason why we wanted to make all the tiers, the pricing is primarily a decision of me being we want to make all the tiers the same thing, so let's do new prices. And I was just let's make these prices numerologically important to the crazy person who's in charge of the computer stuff, which is me. And then we named the tiers based on, obviously, triangles have 3 sides, beehives are hexagonally symmetrical. Tentacles generally come in pairs of 8, so a lost tentacle would be the 9th one, and then 13 because it's my favorite number to deal with that.
You said that you wanted people to figure it out.
Yeah, I assume that they're not going to figure it out, so I just explained it. That's fine. Also, I said that more than 1 day ago.
That is correct.
So
yes.
I don't remember even saying that. Yeah, I don't write this stuff down. That's not how this works. That's not how this works literally at all. And if you're part of our Patreon, you probably know that already. But yeah, so the $5 tier is going to go away, but there's no rush on that. There's not like a time limit. And like, technically I can't change anything on the $5 tier. Like I can't kick you off of it or anything like that. And I don't really know how to make any changes to that. But I have edited the stuff in the background of the $5 tier to make sure that y'all have access to everything. So if it seems like you're not getting access to something, just let me know and I'll fix it for you. I technically do not know what I'm doing. So you're going to get everything. And if it seems like you're not getting everything, just send me a message on Discord or Patreon might have a message system. I'm going to be real. I'm quite new to this stuff. So, yeah, whatever about that. Those are the new tiers. Those are the new price points. And the idea is just because, like, sometimes people can afford more and sometimes people can afford less. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. You are all our patrons, allowing us as creatives to be creative a la like patrons in a fantasy book for a musician or patrons in like ancient Greece for like philosophers and mathematicians and stuff. So it's sort of like the idea behind that. Have a little bit of fun with it and whatnot. So yeah, those are the new price points. If you don't know about our Patreon, it's patreon.com/nerdjive. So go check that out. So next up is, and like the main thing that we interact with is Discord. So when you join our Patreon, you get access to the Discord. So all of our patrons should have already seen a change to the Discord. But so our Discord, we've added some new channels. We didn't really take any channels away. We may have renamed one or two of them just to fill space, but none of the channels have gone away. So that way there's no, I think that I specifically didn't change anything that didn't have, or that had like conversation in it. So there was no confusion. But so we now have 4 or 5 Discord channels. So we've got the general Discord channel, which is like, again, obvious general conversation, right? Kind of whatever stuff. Then we have a Horn and Cauldron Coven Discord channel, which is essentially like where we plan on doing like witchy talking points, like where we're going to talk about witchy stuff, right? Although sometimes witchy stuff is going to be in all the other channels and sometimes stuff from all the other channels are going to go on the thing. I'm not going to gatekeep conversations. This is just in general to try and keep it organized. I'm not that organized. So that's the Horn and Cauldron Coven channel. Then we created a few new channels, one of which is the Book Nook channel. So that's where we're going to talk about books that we're reading, books that we've read, book recommendations. You guys let us know what you want us to read, if you want our opinion on a thing, or if you read something interesting and you're just like, oh my God, I read this thing, it's so amazing, you got to check this out. So we can check that out there. We're going to discuss like books and stuff there. So that's kind of where that's going to come about, while we deeper dive into like more books and like what we're reading and that kind of a thing. So that's all taking place over there. Right now there's like not any motion happening in that channel. But soon all will be Zool. The primary, the next big thing for us is you're almost done with the book that you're reading.
Yes.
Right. And I'm almost done with the book that I'm reading. And I've also got some, book suggestions, just like general book suggestions. So that's kind of like where we're going to do that sort of stuff. And then, the next channel that we, created was Correspondence Corner, which is going to be mostly you.
Yes. So in that channel, I'm just like, oh, it's my turn to talk.
Yeah, mostly.
So in that channel, we'll be discussing magical correspondences for things, symbolism for stuff. So if you have a question for, like what is the correspondence for grapes, that I can throw that out for you, or like what I saw a dragon in my tea leaves. What does that mean? I can help you get some ideas, including like dream meanings and stuff like that. And there will be sort of correspondence of the week as I go through and find new correspondences, spruce up existing ones that I have, which will eventually long-term turn into a
some sort of a usable
database of sorts.
But because green can be a correspondence for a bunch of things, and a bunch of things can have a correspondence of green, and like just it being a big long list sort of makes it too bulky to search through.
Yeah, we don't know what this database looks like
yet.
But
I'm still formulating that plan.
Be a database,
a correspondences database. But for now, we have this chat where, like, if you have a question about correspondence, you can you could say like, "Hey, for instance, I saw this dragon in my tea leaves. What does this mean?" And or I've got willow bark. What is willow bark correspondence for? But you could also just go in there and be like, "Hey, I'm doing this.
Or I want to do a protection spell.
I'm doing a protection spell. What kind of correspondences would work best?" Or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's primarily just because right now it's like a big unwieldy list, right? That just exists on her laptop.
Yeah.
So she's going to be the database interface for you until I can perfect something more reasonable.
Yeah. Just call me Siri.
Yeah, but
or maybe don't actually do that because your phone's probably going to go nuts. I said that and I was like, oh no, look at your phone. Look at my phone.
Did you summon the phone?
Just like summon us?
Yeah. So that's what that's for. Yeah. Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
And then the last channel that we added is a channel that I've just called Side Quest. And Side Quest is essentially a place for anything to exist that has no better place to exist in.
Doesn't belong to the other channels.
Are we going to talk about, oh, hey, I just saw this movie, and it would be great if you guys watched this movie and did a review of it for movie reviews. Because, like, movie reviews are coming back to the channel. If you haven't seen it yet, we did a Dune 2 review. There's a couple of movies coming out soon that we want to want to go to the theaters and watch and do reviews of, as well as we are almost done with a K-dramedy?
Yes.
Yeah, dramedy.
Yeah.
Dramedy, probably.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And we started watching this just because we're like, we want to watch this. And by about the halfway point, we're like, we got to do a review of this because this is...
And we thought it was going to be just like nice background sound. No, we got...
Girl, let me tell you.
Sucked in. We have
how
conspiracy
insane this show
theories.
It's so
And if you want to get in on this before the video drops, because you're like exclusive and you're watching this video right now, it is Behind Your Touch and it's on Netflix. We are not sponsored.
Yeah, we had no association with those.
Pull this up.
Yeah, we just ran into this. Honestly, we watched a trailer and we're like, this looks fun. And then we watched it and we're like, oh no.
Yeah,
we now have to pay attention.
It's got English subs and dubs.
Yeah.
We're watching it on dubs because that's easier for us as we putter around, do stuff in the house. And Korean dubs are actually pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, they're pretty good. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. But like that's kind of what SideQuest is about. That stuff. When we get into the next thing we're going to be talking about is like stuff you get with the Patreon other than just the Discord. So when we get into like writing stuff, like that side quest stuff. And of course, if there's like a specific topic that needs like its own channel because we've gotten off the rails about it, then I'll just populate a new channel into Discord. So which is like not that difficult, probably, but so yeah, side quest is just kind of like whatever recipes will probably go in there. I've started writing down like recipes again, as opposed to just winging it, which is the way that I prefer to cook. so like that kind of stuff. Side quest is just gonna sort of be like a whatever channel. So just kind of like put in there whatever. Even though I understand that like general also feels whatever, but it's like whatever, but that's not general whatever, even though everybody has access to it. So,
and these definitions may
they're
over time. So,
so loose, dog. Listen, these definitions, all big violent ducks, gooses.
Yeah.
Because of the loosey goosey.
Yeah.
But so that's what's happening with Discord there. So stay tuned for more conversations on all that kind of stuff. That's gonna be fun. We're trying to get like a little bit more. Discord is weird. for me. So
It's weird for me too, and I don't always get notifications, but I'm making a concerted effort to try.
you know what I started doing,
And
man?
check it.
I started just leaving Discord. My laptop is like essentially always running and open. And I have noticed that Discord, the app or whatever on my laptop, lets me know when you guys message me. And my phone just doesn't sometimes. So that's why I've been like these last couple of times I've been like, oh, we got a message from somebody or whatever, is because like my laptop told me. Because my phone doesn't tell me shit, dude. I get like booty notifications on my phone. But my laptop is very Johnny on the spot because it's running in the background of Windows. Believe it interrupt my game when I'm gaming? Yeah, which is crazy. So, and we can talk about gaming on side quests. I'm a huge Diablo 4 fan. So who do you do?
Yeah.
So that is the Discord channels, which brings us nextly into what you would get with Patreon. Kind of like what's the stuff, right? And the stuff fairly straightforward, fairly simple, right? Everybody's getting the same amount of stuff, so we don't have to go over to interdependent tiers or none of that shit. First and foremostly, access to the Discord channel. Second, obviously, access to the Book Shadows pages. If you are on the Patreon already, you should have access to everything regardless of tier. I went back through and had to manually alter every single upload we've made to Patreon thus far to access all tiers because there's not like a bulk access thing, which is bonkers.
It's a remarkably not user-friendly site from a creator perspective.
It truly is not, dude.
Yeah.
So that happened. But if you can't find something, just like hit me up in Discord or on Patreon, and I can direct send you anything. It's the same thing with like I haven't done it in a little while, but generally when I have like some fun graphics that I've made or altered or edited or whatever for Book of Shadows page, sometimes I'll make cell phone backgrounds because I'm one of those people that has to change their cell phone and laptop background very frequently because I'm like a little crazy. And I'm a lot crazy. I just lied to you. And so sometimes I make like Book of Shadows graphics into wallpapers. I have those wallpapers set up for my screen size because I think it's the largest screen size, probably. But if you need it altered for a different screen size, let me know, and it's really easy for me. I keep all the original Photoshop files for everything because I'm a digital hoarder. So I can let me tell you the terabytes that I take up.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. So I can always edit those for something, or if you're looking for something like whatever. So that's part of that. Book of Shadows pages and all Book of Shadows related shenanery. Name in the credits, which the name in the credits is exactly as straightforward as us saying your name and put it in the picture thingy that we do on the podcast and regular episodes. At some threshold of people, there may become a time when it's just the picture and not names because I can't read that many names in an amount of time. But I don't know how that's going to interact. Everybody does it differently. When it gets to that point, honestly, I'm probably just going to ask you guys. That's easier. And since you're the patrons, you guys got to make the rules. So that's the way that I think about that. So names and the stuff, shout outs and such. The next thing is early access for short stories and writing projects, which is something new because we've kind of run into a couple others that are doing something similar to this. And it's kind of a thing that I've been working on. I write horror and science fiction, mostly short stories thus far, at least, or sort of short. I went through some of the old stuff and I was just like, oh, look at this short story. I thought it was 3 pages. It's 11 pages. Whatever. I drag on. You know this. But so, as those get to like pseudo finished product, like I've made them so there's not spelling errors and grammatical errors in them. I'm just basically going to give those to you guys to like read and judge and get back to me about, and like whatever. This isn't homework. It's just like, I'm interested in this stuff. I wrote it. So what do you think? So it's like sharing is caring. the long-term goal on this is to publish a collection of short stories, right? Which I've been working on for several years now, and I have a bunch of stuff that's in various steps of finished, but we do have a few stories that are already finished, and so the first one I plan on uploading within the next week or so for you guys. After that, and then in that also, you've been wanting to do some like reading.
Yeah, so
what's the word?
we're
Voice
kind
acting?
of thinking of this as like story time.
Sort of story time. Yeah.
So somewhere between reading you a bedtime story, I guess, and voice acting. I've been told on too many occasions that I have a voice for radio, but you know what? I also have a face for YouTube.
You both. Yeah, who'd have thought?
So this will be periodically basically videos of me reading a story. Sometimes that'll be like a myth. Sometimes it'll be related to some sort of podcast episode or other video that we're doing. And it may even turn into me reading aloud something that is Creative Commons. That's probably the easiest.
Yeah, it'll probably mostly be like Creative Commons and myths.
Yeah, because once you start getting into that kind of like published stuff that's not held under Creative Commons, like I see a lot of creators doing like lives on Instagram and TikTok where they're reading, like Harry Potter or ACOTAR, whatever is popular. And those are problematic for the type of for YouTube, really, and even a little bit for Patreon, because those can be copyright striked, and if you have too many copyright strikes, your whole channel can be taken down.
Oh yeah, they'll just disappear. That stuff lost.
So I definitely don't want to chance that.
Yeah.
But Creative Commons stuff,
so much, dude.
Myths.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be funny, sometimes they're interesting, sometimes they'll be scary. So that's a place where that sort of stuff can live.
Yeah. And like there's a lot of like little myths and stories in like Greek lore, in like Norse legend. I mean, like, Thrimskveda and such like that. So like there's a ton of those little stories or whatever. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of that, a little bit of my writing stuff, and it's just sort of like an interactive sort of thing there for that. And then after that, we also have so votes. So we want to start doing polls for pub chat topics as well as for full-length episode topics. We do have like a kind of running list of stuff that we want to talk about and stuff that's been requested. So like we're going to kind of like put the requests in that and put the things that we've thought about in that, and as well as leave that open for like write-in stuff like, what should we talk about, within the next couple of weeks? Oh, this? All right, rock and roll or whatever.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna be doing that
next, but it'll be, what should we talk about soon?
Yeah, it'll be soon, just because of the time constraints. Right now, we're not like far enough out to be like, Yeah,
we're basically recording these unedited, off the cuff week for week.
Yeah.
So we are doing the podcast video of living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're doing radio talk show host style.
Yeah, but
right?
only to us and our dogs, and then you guys get to listen to the replay.
Yeah, you guys are listening to the syndication.
Yeah, they're the ones hearing it live, and boy, let me tell you,
they're all asleep.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but they know to be asleep because we don't need no binging and bonging and such. Because they're good dogs. But so we're gonna be doing votes and polls and such like that for like new projects and potentially even for like movie reviews, read along stuff.
Basically any of the content we might do a poll about. We're not sure what that looks like yet. We're gonna be figuring it out just as y'all are figuring it out.
Be real with you, technically never done one, so we're gonna see about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to include, and I think this already went out. I think I set it up so it automatically transacted. The Patreon's also going to include a discount code for our Etsy shop. And so we do like, hand-dyed embroidery floss and Ada cloth and like fabric panels and stuff in our Etsy shop, as well as like altar cloths. We've done several altar cloths for people by request, as well as like other stuff.
Flower crowns.
We're doing
we also have like
off again, on again,
dyed like things you can not so much like t-shirts, although those there are some in there.
Yeah.
But like tie-dye placemat.
Yeah.
Tie-dye
linen
sun
napkins.
hats.
Yes.
You know, so and when we say tie-dye, we actually mean the form that's ice dye.
Yeah. It's a little bit more like chaos style.
Yeah, but it also creates these like beautiful blooms that are really just kind of works of art. So as and there's also paintings. We put our art up
there. All of our actual art goes up there.
Original art goes in there.
And we're bringing a lot of new stuff to bear this year. We're adding both to like the regular shop stuff that we do, but also we're adding more witchy stuff to the shop.
Yeah.
So
more accessories and home goods.
Yeah, accessories, home goods, stuff like that. And of course, if there's something like if you look at our shop and you're like, oh, like this looks cool, like I want a specific thing, we always take requests in our shop, right? I mean, we're going to be honest with you. If you request something that's impossible for us to accomplish, we're going to tell you right off the bat. But because everything that we produce is so incredibly one of a kind and essentially like difficult to replicate in any sort of a practical form, what we do is when we work out a request, one, we don't add any extra cost to requests, so we're not doing any of that, and we also don't charge you up front for a request. If you request, like, let's say an altar cloth, right, to stay on the witchy side of things, if you request an altar cloth, we're going to produce that altar cloth, we're going to take pictures of it, send you pictures of it, and be like, is this what you're looking for? And then you're like, darker or lighter or not blue or whatever, then we'll just produce a new thing.
Yeah.
Right. And there have been times when we've hit it like Johnny on the spot the first time somebody asked for something, and sometimes it's like 3 down the road. Right.
Yeah. It's sometimes
and also you don't have to know 100% what you're looking for. Let me tell you, we have received requests that are like vague concepts. Hey, can you make an embroidery floss that resembles this concept? And I'm just like, I mean,
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that a bunch of times. We've done that more often than I would.
Yeah.
Then seems like it makes sense to admit.
Yeah. Well, it's plus ultra of being a colormancer is it's perceiving color in a different way.
All of our like goods and goods, not services, but goods go into the Etsy shop.
Yeah.
We're going to be continuously adding to that.
Yeah, adding more and more to that. So y'all get a discount code on the Patreon for that. And then the last item I had on the list is essentially just and more, like you see in all the infomercials. And the and more is primarily like we're going to add more stuff. We don't know what that stuff is yet. We haven't thought that far ahead, right? We don't know what's going to like ka-chow and like take our minds as a good idea, right? I mean, I've been talking about making runes this is just like an example, making runes for the Etsy shop for the better part of a year.
More than that.
And have approached it in fits and starts several times.
Five years.
And just like within the last 3 months, I'm like, this is the better plan. Like that kind of thing. Like leather work and stuff like that. It's just like adding the writing stuff. I've been writing for years and writing these short stories. And then I think you came up with the idea of like, why don't we just like share those with the patrons, and like what, and I'm just like, that's a great idea. Right. If you're listening to us and you like us enough to be patrons, then you're probably going to be into my writing. And if it's awful, tell me.
Yep.
So I know.
And if you're not into
it's time consuming.
You also don't have to read it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You also don't have to read it. There's no homework. I didn't do homework in high school. Ask my high school teachers. I didn't do homework in college. Ask my college teachers. And I'm certainly not going to do homework now. I'm a grown-ass adult. Don't give me fucking take-home homework. That shit's unacceptable, dog. When I'm on the clock, I'm on. When I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock. And guess what? I work for me. I'm always off the clock. So that's how that works for me. But yeah, I've just kind of been drowning on about like Patreon nonsense, but I think that kind of covers all the bases and the stuff that we've been talking about.
I think that does. And to tie it up, we kind of decided to make this change for this stuff because we felt like the way that we were doing our Patreon was sort of closed off to people because we recognize that people follow us for a variety of different reasons, whether you know us from real life,
real life people,
or not, real life.
If you follow us for the podcast, or do you follow us because of the Star Trek reviews,
or because that one time you saw our Train to Busan review and you were like, these people seem cool. So we wanted to make it a little bit less themed in like the type of stuff that you're getting and a little more rounded, but we also wanted to make it so that it was a little bit more like having a traditional patron where it's allowing us to explore our creativity and allowing us to explore the space that we as a team and each of us individually exist in, much like patrons did in ye olde times.
Yeah, totally.
And also, we felt like gating things by dollar amount in the economy and society that we currently live in is difficult because we don't want people to feel obligated to pay whatever dollar amount that tier is to keep getting that content. If you can, we'd love you to, and if you can't, you know what, that's fine too. Everybody has lean times and flush times, and we want to be here for you realistically in as many of those times as possible.
Well, and to sort of facilitate and promote a significantly more open community, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you know about all of our cult-based jokes. And I'm not, for the legal record, I'm not making a cult. This is not a cult. There's no cults. I've said
these are not membership dues.
These are not membership dues to a cult. However, cults seem pretty communal, so we can steal some of their ideas. Fun titles. Everybody loves a fun title, right?
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to be executive of some bullshit. That's boring, right?
Yeah.
So, but Order of the Black Triangle, that sounds pretty gangster, dog.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're part of a sort of secret organization because we're not viral.
Yeah, because we're not viral. So
we're not Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
so,
right now it's a secret organization, and you're welcome. What's up? We'll do fancy handshakes at some point in time.
Yeah.
As a member of several secret organizations, everybody loves a good fancy handshake. Nothing makes you feel more badass than going to shake a regular handshake and somebody gives you a little secret handshake and you're like, I don't know a response to this. You throw that shit back, it's quite gangster. So, yeah, it's happened. So it's very cool. But, yeah, I don't know. We're just trying to, like, be more chill.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to reduce barriers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we hope that you'll come along with us in this journey as we kind of like figure it out.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Add more stuff. Do more weird things. We have a lot of just fun, weird things that we enjoy doing. And so we assume that y'all will also enjoy doing. And if you don't, let us know. I'm always willing to be told to shut up. I might not listen. I'm not going to listen. But you can tell me
he's not.
Sure, I'm not going to listen.
In fact, that's probably going to make him talk more. Yeah.
About that thing specifically, maybe. A little bit, right?
More than maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than maybe.
Yeah, but, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. That's the Patreon update.
Yeah.
That probably makes sense. If it doesn't, ask a question. Comment below, ask a question. I'll respond to that question. I ain't got nothing else going on. So yeah, we will catch you guys next time for a regular YouTube video and not whatever this mess was. Good luck with that. And, yeah. Either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Julie Norgrove. This has been both the Horn
and Cauldron
podcast and Nerd Jive. Stay nerdy, stay magical. Don't be an asshole. And remember, if you're part of Patreon, we're better than the rest of them.
And don't forget, breathe in self-confidence and breathe out self-doubt.